right, so now that we've seen my little dress-up room, let's go over to the other side of the house. So the house originally was a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, and I think the last owners, come on in, the last owners added this extension in the 90s and turned it into a 4-bedroom, 2.5-bathroom. And AJ and I have probably changed these rooms up a dozen times since we moved in here 5 years ago. So this is what it is currently. It may change again in the future, but I love it right now. So this is our sunroom, which used to be my office, which used to be another dining room, which used to be a game room, but now is my music room. And one of the great things about being debt-free is I have spent a lot more time thinking about the things that make me really happy and hobbies that I used to do and didn't do anymore because I was either working too much, stressed out, or just too tired, or didn't have the money to do it. So now that we have paid off the house, I have a little bit more room to do some of the things I used to enjoy. And one of them is music. I absolutely love anything music related. I love going to live concerts. I will be going to the BTS concert in a couple of weeks, which I'm super excited about. And I've been wanting to have a piano. I used to play piano when I was a kid. I was never really good at it. I did not practice. My mom said that I was frustrated because I didn't get to play the music that I wanted to play. I think I wanted to play like Boyz II Men, and they used to make me play like Fur Elise or whatever. But I have always loved to sing. Like I said, I love karaoke. And something really struck me a couple of weeks ago. I read something about Wentworth Miller. He's one of my favorite actors, and he said that he met someone who used to love doing art, and she stopped doing art, and he asked her why, and she said, well, she wasn't really good at it. And he said, well, isn't that a shame that someone is giving up something that they really love, that brings them joy, just because they're not good at it or just because it doesn't make them money? And that got me thinking about what are all the things that I like to do that doesn't necessarily bring me money but makes me really happy. And singing is one of them. I will never be a professional singer, but I can do it for fun and do it to relieve stress. And so one of the things that I had to do was get a piano when I asked about getting a singing teacher. And it took me a couple months, but I was able to get it. So here's my piano, which I love. And we actually got it for free, which anything free I love, but something like this is even cooler. I actually saw a Facebook post on a community that I was in, and someone was giving away piano because it was an older lady that was downsizing her house. I got AJ to come with me, rent out a truck, and on a Saturday morning, we hauled this thing over to our house. And it was actually in our garage for a couple of weeks on the outside, but still played really well. So we took some time to chalk paint it, which cost us, I don't know, like 50 bucks to paint the thing and then bring it into our house. And now it works great. We also have a little guitar in here, which I don't play. It's really here for decoration. But what I love about this whole space is that it has kind of good acoustics as well. And AJ, when the piano tuner came, said that it filled the whole house with music. So I'm really looking forward to that. So if you want to keep coming on in with me, this is the last piece of our house. It's this room that nobody ever expects to see. So from the front of the house, you can't tell really how deep our house goes, and people are always surprised that I have this room. This was the in-law suite that I mentioned that the previous owners had built out. And this room has changed over many times as well. It used to be my photo studio. It was my office. This is actually where I started Dressed, my first business. From the ground up. This used to be filled with hundreds of dresses. And we even had a tenant in here at one point, which helped us through to our debt-free journey. So another tip is if you can find any ways to have passive income, like having a roommate, even if it's not the most ideal situation, that was a huge way for us to make some extra money without really having to do much work. And that helped us get our house paid down a lot faster. So someone was living here for a little bit as well, but now it's our yoga room, which I am really happy about because that is something that AJ and I both love to do. AJ has gotten really into it. He just went to yoga yesterday at the baseball field with a couple hundred people. And I always thought it'd be really cool if we could have a yoga teacher come to us instead of me having to go to these yoga classes. There's a yoga studio that we really like going to, but it takes us about 20 minutes to get there each way. and after work it gets really stressful trying to get to class on time because of all the traffic, I realized that I often get pretty distracted by what other people are doing, metaphorically and in actual real life. So when I go to yoga classes, sometimes I get discouraged because I see other people doing all the stuff that I want to be able to do, but I'm not able to do yet. And I noticed that in our first practice session here, I was able to focus a lot more on me and myself, and I was also able to get a lot more one-on-one attention because it was just the two of us. Now, a lot of people will say like, wow, you're on this debt-free journey. What are you doing taking like piano lessons and yoga, like one-on-one yoga? And you know, I think that's the whole point of being debt-free, is to be able to do stuff that you love doing and spend your money where you want to spend it. So instead of me spending it on house payments or car payments or, you know, cups of coffee that I'm not really getting joy out of, I'm rediverting that money into things that I do love, like these yoga classes and this yoga place. So if you are ever interested in having a session, feel free. You can come join me in AJ anytime. And hopefully next time you see me, I'll be able to do a handstand because I'll have plenty of place to practice. Now that you've seen the whole inside of our house, let's go outside and show you some of my favorite things about what the previous owners left us and show you some of the fun things that we have on the outside. So this is our little backyard. It's not the biggest space, and that's okay with me because I don't like doing yard work, and that was something that was important for me. So remember that when you are buying your house, think about what are the things that are important to you, both inside the house and outside the house. If you don't like yard work, maybe then you shouldn't have a big yard, right? But my favorite thing about the yard is that fig tree over there. And I love that fig tree because it actually bears real delicious figs. The things that is really important to me is that I don't have a green thumb. You can see our grass and all that stuff isn't like picture perfect, and that's something that I've had to struggle with myself internally, in the sense of wanting to keep up with the Joneses, right? And that's something that is important to think about when you're buying a house, is making sure that you're buying a house for things that make you happy and for things that are important to you, and not necessarily just to keep up with everybody else. So yes, we do have a nice house, but we've spent a lot more on the inside than on the outside. And that's something that we're gonna probably work on in the next couple of years to improve the outside of it. But we've been able to save a lot of money by not trying to keep up with everybody else all the time. So aside from the fig tree, we walk over here. You'll see we have a 2-car garage, which right now only can fit 1 car because one of my goals this year is to keep decluttering and get all the stuff out of our garage so that we can fit 2 cars in there one day. Right now we only have 1 car, so that's all we really need. And we have a lot of space out here, but my 2 favorite things and why I actually bought the house and what attracted me to the house was the porch over there. I grew up in New York City. I didn't think I'd ever have a porch to swing on or, you know, something like that. And so when I first saw this house, I said, that is the cutest thing ever, and I wish I could have that for myself. And so we did. And my other favorite thing is this rose bush. This is probably the most roses that we've ever gotten. I'm gonna go ahead and snip some after this video and put it in our house, so it's a great source for free flowers. But what I love about this is it's another reminder of the people that came before us. So when we bought this house, the previous owners, as I mentioned, they were a retiring couple and they were moving into a retirement home. And the first week after we bought the house, they actually came to visit us, and the wife wanted me to take some time with her to walk around the whole place so that she could show me all of the things that she had planted over the years, things that I probably never would have done. Actually, I know for a fact I never would have done. And one of the things that she did do was this rose bush that I'm so grateful for. And it continues to remind us that there are people here who planted seeds literally a long time ago, and that they're bearing such beautiful gifts now. And that's how I like to think about our debt-free journey, is what are we doing to plant the seeds now so that we can build a prettier, happier future. So that's where the tour ends. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. You are letting me live my HGTV dreams by being able to do this tour. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them below or contact me at bernadettejoy.com.